the genocide of what's happening in Gaza right now. So I would like to just give a moment for us to all just reflect on that. Thank you. So, if anyone has been saying and following with PACC and knows what our theme is for today and what we've been constantly saying, it's that the future is Palestine. What does that mean? Tonight's performers are going to take you on sort of a journey. They've been working very hard, and we're very special for all our guests and our special performer at the end, Sara. But each is going to take us in a part of where we are as a collective, in all of us in our struggle for Palestine and for Palestine. I think we can all agree that within the same day, our emotions go from high to low to depressed to all of the things in between. We're all trying our best to advocate for Palestine and to continue to speak for Palestine and to keep that hope alive. But I think we can all admit that what's happening is not normal for any of us to be dealing with. Every day we wake up, look at our phones and see a new massacre, new deaths, new things that I don't think anyone in this world should be having to deal with. And for the people in Palestine, and especially in Gaza, to be dealing with it on a regular basis is unacceptable. But with that, why the future is Palestine? As hard as everything is and as difficult as it is to imagine, we have to envision a future where we are in a free Palestine. Because the only way it's going to happen is if we imagine it, and if we believe it, and if we actively work towards it. And that is, again, what PACC does and why we are all here. So without further ado, I would like to introduce first of a beautiful lineup tonight. I'm going to introduce Isra Khatir to the stage. And thank you, everyone, for coming.
My name is Isra Khatir. I'll be reading أنا الشاب الفلسطيني, reciting أنا الشاب الفلسطيني. أنا الشبل الفلسطيني بأرض زرعت كالزيتون والتين جذوري إلى كنعان ثابتة دم الشهداء يجري في شراييني أنا كالأسد في الساحات دقت طبول الحرب أحسد الأرواح بالميادين أنا حارس الأقصى وصخرته لا تغفل عيوني ولا أحني جبيني وسيفي مسلول بلا رمد سل التاريخ وسل يوم حطيني سل الكرامة بالضفة الأخرى واسأل بني صهيون عني بجنيني أنا الشبل الفلسطيني جيوش الغدر تخشاني وحور العين تهواني أنا ما بعت أوطاني ولا سلمت رشاشي حملت اليوم أكفاني وزاد بقلبي إيماني بأن النصر والتحرير على يد الأشبال آت بأن النصر والتحرير على يد الأشبال آت Free, free Palestine! Free, free Gaza! Now I would like to introduce Amira Abu Ali. Her poem is about Qahir wa Salam. Thank you guys.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Amira and I wrote this poem with a heavy heart, so bear with me. My poem is called Qahir wa Salam. Qahir is a word that we can't translate it into words, but it means that when you see something and you can't do anything about it, so أنت بتكون شخص مقهور. منذ 7 من أكتوبر استيقظ إخوتي علي محاطا بالدماء من كل خلية في جسدي هم لا يرون مني إلا غزة غير أني منذ 75 عاما أنزف دما من كل شبر من حدودي وبعد كل الذي عشته لا زلت أرى أن بإمكاني الخروج، إلا أن إخوتي من العرب سواء كانوا ذو قرابة جغرافية أو دموية، فإن لم يكونوا الأولى فهم الثانية بالتأكيد. فما زلت أراهم من دمي رغم تغريبهم لي عنهم قسرا. في كل حرب أظن أنها الأخيرة التي أخوضها، أظن أنها النهاية أقرب، وأن الوحدة قاب قوسين وأدنى، ويخيب ظني. في نهاية كل حرب يموت من هم بداخلي. في فلسطين نردد أناشيد الموت في كل وقت وحين، ونحسد من وقع موته فيها، فهو من فاز ونحن من خسرنا. الشعوب خيرة، إلا أن حال الشعوب يتشابه، ولا يوجد تمكين لها لمساعدة، فحصرت مساعدتها بالدعاء. أرض لطخت بدماء معطرة يتمنى كل من هو حي أن تكون دماؤه. فهذه أرض ليست لمن يحب الحياة، هذه أرض خلقت لاثنين فقط، من مات لأجلها ومن يتمنى ذلك. فمحبي الحياة كثر مقارنة بعاشقي الموت لأجل أرضهم، وأقسم بمن جعل السماء مهدا لن تخون الشعوب، وستعود هذه الأرض وندخلها بالتكبير. فمن خانها ليس ملايين من يعيشون بجانبها، ولن نحتاج لذو علم لنعلم الذي خان، فهم معدودون على الأصابع. وفي النهاية أخشى أن أموت بعيدا عنها، فهذه الأرض تطلبني كما تطلب كل من منها ولها، ومن شباب وشياب لتحريرها، والموت هناك بسلام في أرضهم الأولى والأخيرة. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Noor Dawood. I am a proud Ghazawi and Haifawi, born in Iraq. Since when have we become numb to genocide, to the amount of children who died, to people being displaced just looking for a place to hide? Since when? Since when has ethnic cleansing become self-defense? Since when has it been okay to see children starve to death and not bat an eye? Why? Why have we become accustomed to seeing innocent families die, to having the media constantly lie, to having children grow up with bombs in the sky, to always being portrayed as the bad guy? What excuse do you have for murdering those children, youth, and pioneers who did not live to develop careers and died in their early years? Since when? We speak of human rights and boast how equal we are, yet somehow when it comes to Gaza, they are not human enough? And you put aside the fact that Israel has them occupied. Why must we scream, yell, and shout, we are human, when our hearts beat the same? Are you happy? Are you proud? Are you finally satisfied because your self-defense has erased families, bloodlines, relationships, and dreams? Because from your killing spree, that's what it seems. Since when have we lost hope? Since when have we forgot that hand in hand we will free Palestine? So wake up. Wake up and remember, we will never become accustomed to genocide, to ethnic cleansing and displacement, to murder and hatred. We will never let you call this genocide complicated. We will always stand hand in hand, kufiya by kufiya, till Palestine is free and liberated. The next speaker is Rua Al-Hayek, and she's going to be doing a reflection piece called Landscapes and Language. The early Abbasid critics debated whether poets could create new meanings, or whether by later poets was to find only new ways to express the old meanings over and over and over again. My language goes stale when I twist my heart open and bare it to the Gaza on my phone. If those critics were alive today, they would have settled their debate knowing that Gaza creates meaning.
and its people speak in a language with no expiration date in words that never go flat. Gaza layers new meaning upon meaning upon meaning onto everything. For instance, we used to reserve the term ghurba for estrangement, the overwhelming nostalgia that afflicts us when we are displaced from the places where we come from. So what is this love, grief, for a place that neither I nor any of my ancestors have ever set eyes on? For this place that the enemy cuts up into north and south, into Khan Yunis and Dir al-Balah and Rafah, that only the resistance stitches back together with its tunnels. For this geography supplanted now onto Manhattan, Patterson, Teaneck, Amman, and every city I have ever known. For Gaza's buildings and its roads and its sea as they trace over every one of these cities' landscapes that I know, like the sheets my high school math teacher used to lay, one on top of the other, on the old projector, revealing answers to questions only as the second sheet gets placed atop the first. The 9th century Basran scholar Jahid, in a treatise titled Yearning for Homelands, tells us, when the Arabs would travel or go on military campaigns, they would carry with them dirt, dust, and sand from their hometowns, which they used to breathe in when they came down with fevers, migraines, or any illness in foreign lands they had traveled to. If we could fill jars of dirt from Gaza, the dirt would be a mixture of flour now instead of dust, sand from its beach and the dirt of its date and olive and pomegranate groves, its strawberry fields and watermelon beds, steeped in the blessed blood of its martyrs. And we could breathe and breathe and breathe it in until we woke up from this stupor and were healed of our heedlessness and accepted once and for all that there was no going back to our lives before this. But for now, we fill our hearts instead with the images on our phones and the scenes as they play out, a genocide live streamed on our phones and the resistance and endurance of a people and a land that teach us life, and offer us, in place of belated New Year's resolutions, lists of dreams for and everywhere else it stalls, waiting for an update from them and a sign from them, or their instructions, waiting for new meaning to emerge. Greenwich Mean Time is Gaza's time, and the north of all our compasses is Gaza, and none of us are free without Gaza.
Quick announcement for parents. We do have babysitting upstairs in the middle room. So any parents and children that are playing inside, you are welcome to bring them upstairs to babysitting. Thank you.
My first poem is entitled Gaza Lives. It was written right after October 7th. I was really inspired by the resiliency and the invigorating spirit of the Palestinian people. And it goes something like, Kenya with Kaepernick want us to fear Massa's whip. As they strangle Gaza Strip, half the population kids, under occupation risk, murder is stop and frisk, 1,000 hostages, targeting paramedics, can't get anesthetics, they committing genocide, and it's unapologetic. Dehumanizing with pride, calling us barbaric, rhetoric will seal your lips, media complicit censorship, teleprompter flip the script, ignorance is not bliss, block you like an eclipse, but on the grand eclipse, horror apocalypse, no water can't get a sip, phosphorus bombs catch a drip, press my conscience, does it exist? Holding my fingertips, hands blown off wrists, can I get a grip? Memories blown to bits, like computer processing chips. Another building gets hit, Godzilla to the bridge, but Gaza resists. By God's will, Gaza will live. So that was really just, Anytime I'm with Palestinians, I always get inspired. So the gateways to the heavens, staring dazed as you beckon. Your fingers point Muhammad to touch the brim of the sky, sinking him to the realm beyond where the low tree resides. Cross the brink, visiting God directly like Moses on Mount Sinai, testify. I'm talking Isra wal Miraj. This was not a mirage. This is not Wizard of Oz. This is riveting, defying the odds. Ricocheting through the facades, dated palm trees, comforting her birth pains, shaded calm peace to her hurt, keeping her fully sane. Deliberately is decreed, Maryam, our daughters keep your worthy name. Wet behind his ears, when the near fetus, privilege all nearest, speaking monotheist thesis, elicited Mary's peace as he greeted the people as Jesus. And Allah gave Zechariah, a child in his old age, an unheard word, Yahya, that ignites the whole page. Struck the vocal cords high and sing out God's praise. Your descent of victory, as intense as the delivery of David as he annihilated with the same rock Goliath, Palestinian kids fight Zionists within riots. Your descent of victory, as intense as the delivery of David as he annihilated with the same rock Goliath, Palestinian kids fight Zionists within riots. Kingdom, the staff, and seal of Solomon. Wisdom that surpassed the zeal of Solomon. Controlling animals, jinns, and hallowing winds, capture soul of Sheba's queen. Imagine God's power then. Your face serenely, soothingly gorgeous, full of grace, dreamy beauty of Joseph. He keeps believing, and so his destiny, never hopeless. For my Palestinians, in Jenin and Gaza, I wrote this, an account and a history of your blessed land, an amount so rich you could never be citizens who are second-hand. We're the seeds planted by Abraham, like Isaac, Ismail, and Jacob fam. Thank you. Word of honor, love.
Hi guys, my name is Siri and Abdelatif. I'll be presenting my poem, Where Does Honor Lie? It's become too dark, a light as somber as a starless sky, barely seen through the cracks of hope. With tunnel vision, I wander. Oh, lead me to where the truth gleams brighter than the sun, and where lies are tucked in the shadows of death. A lesson to all, moving with grace and humility, to be sensible. Do not be afraid. Heed your own words. Head above the hurricane, quenching the driest of nights, the bloodiest of lands, and the quietest of pleas. An insistent cry, where is liberty? Where is justice? Where is your conviction of the lawless execution of those with the right to be? As long as my limbs can move, my eyes can see, my blood can pump into my heart, I will rise for Palestine. While the world repeats its wrongdoings, my brothers and sisters, we are blessed with forethought, patience, the virtue humanity must bear, a dagger of moral excellence, and a turbine of polarization. Oh, glory to our martyrs, for they gifted us a kiss of sorrow and bloodshed. And in return, we holler from the rooftops, may they drink from the sweet rivers of Jannah. Below their feet so feather-light, a land where the sand meets the sea, watching the lioness reunite with her pride. Indeed, our destiny was liberation all along. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My
poem is titled This Body Called Home. Although I am not Palestinian myself, I wrote this poem to echo the message that I feel many Palestinians in this country right now feel. This body called home. Have I become the dichotomy of their discussion? My tongue utters a language in this foreign body of an invaded soul. My nurturing mother tongue, the knuckle of my once free soul. I am now alive with grief, more obvious on my face. But it's my blood stain on everything my colonizers replace. My once house Arabi is no longer home, because to be from Palestine, but not in Palestine, is a burden hard enough we now branded refugee all know. In this body, I remember the testimony of the roots of the olive trees as they become the roots of my own body. They can never bury us as we live in the depths of the messages the activists hollow, merely a whisper in our various loud screams. In this body, they have debated my livelihood. Oh, Jerusalem, I miss you. We're the most alive where you are. Have they forgotten? Don't they know that it's Gaza that is free? It's me who's fleeing. They may own our sea, but it's us who praise on the rebels. My knees remember the pressing against it, calling to God. He is the highest. When our final day comes, who will those who falsify him feel safe in? Don't they know that only God can intercede?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zipna. Nice to meet you all. Home is where the heart is. Home is the citrus wind blowing in a hot breeze. Home is the palm trees filled with sweet dates. Home is the women grouped around sewing tetris. Home is the strength to embrace our fates. Home is fresh bread covered with salty cheese. Home is where the heart is. Pain, a universal feeling, a precursor to relief, consistent, stubborn, undaunting. Hope, a universal feeling, pain's distant brother. Pain gives hope a reason to exist. There was once upon a time where pain lived in a dark, cold world. Pain saw children massacred. Pain saw the elders scattered. Pain saw necessary clothing tattered. Pain saw men broken and battered. Pain saw women's hearts shattered. Pain saw hospitals collapsed. Pain became everything. But where pain goes, hope follows. Hope gives us the freedom. The freedom to smell the citrus wind blowing in the hot breeze. The freedom to see the palm trees filled with sweet dates. The freedom to love the woman grouped around sewing tetris. The freedom to have the strength to embrace our fates. The freedom to taste the fresh bread covered with salty cheese. Pain became our nothing. Hope became our everything. Palestine is the land where hope currently lives. The land of the phoenix rising from the ashes of colonization, rising from the ashes of walls, rising from the ashes of condemnation, rising from the ashes of jails, rising from the ashes of annexation, rising from the ashes of chains, rising from the ashes of humiliation, rising from the ashes of taints, rising from the ashes of destruction, and rising from the ashes of flames. Palestine is a land where pain currently occupies. The land of the white man's dream, graves of children over expensive oil, not the decadent green olive kind of oil, the pollute the big green earth kind of oil. The burden of occupying the brown man's land, the burden of obstructing gods and sands, the burden of uprooting indigenous trees and plants. But they forget about our farmers. The land of the phoenix is sick. The illness, pain. The cure, hope. The identity of the phoenix is a secret. He is the hopeful, humble carpenter. She is the hopeful, devout worshiper. He is the hopeful, unrelenting doctor. She is the hopeful, poor laborer. He is the hopeful, intelligent teacher. She is the hopeful, clever researcher. The identity of the phoenix is not a secret. Hope is the catalyst, but our actions are the reactions. Hope will not be abandoned. Rather, we'll see pain stranded. Hope will see a free Palestine. within Hope's lifetime.
When I think of the future of Palestine, I hear the birds chirping peacefully. I think of a world where Palestinians are no longer woken up by sudden bombs and loud army vehicles driving by. I think of a world without the constant sound of drones. I hear the adhan over the masjid speakers so loud and fearless like they once used to be. When I think of the future of Palestine, I think of a world where you always know that there is food at home. I think of a world where you don't have to worry about your next meal. I think of a world where basic human needs are met. When I think of the future of Palestine, I think of a world where you can live without curfews. I think of a world where you don't fear going outside or getting gas for your car. When I think of the future of Palestine, I think of the late nights my cousins and I will have where we talk all night while eating bizzit from the corner store. I think of a world where Palestinians still have cousins alive to turn to, and a world where there is no longer any pain and sorrow. I think of all the graduations and weddings Palestinians would have instead of funerals. When I think of the future of Palestine, I think of picnics among our olive trees instead of the tree stumps where they used to be. I think of the surviving trees that our ancestors grew before us and spent their whole lives protecting. When I think of the future of Palestine, I see children dancing in the streets instead of worrying about checkpoints around the corner. I think of how children are courageous enough to keep on living with smiles on their faces despite everything they have been through. When I think of the future of Palestine, I imagine all the hard work there is yet to be done. I think of Palestinian homes being rebuilt instead of Israeli red rooftops creeping in. I think of how Palestinians will help each other to rebuild in the same way that they helped to dig each other out of the rubble. When I think of the future of Palestine, I hear the sheikhs call over the masjid speakers, "The war is over," as the streets flood in celebration. I see planes fly back and forth of Palestinians finally returning home, and I see photos and videos of people reuniting online. I see the borders of 1948 come down, and I see Palestinians thriving in places they could never go to before. When I think of the future of Palestine, I think of a world where injustice is replaced by rejoicing. Thank you.